I'm big, you're little. I'm big, you're little.
My vision would turn your world upside down, tear us under your illusions, and send the sanctuary of your own ignorance crashing down around you.
In every form of art and media, we always want to see the good guy win. So yes, Kendrick Lamar is the people's champ, and Drake is the main character of his own villain origin story.
Drake losing this beef can be separated into 3 categories: relationships, artistry, subject matter.
And relationships, Kendrick has talked about throughout his music. He says on the song Rich Spirit, "I'm a good man, shake your hand, firm grip rule." And then when you look at the beef, this is very interesting, right? Kendrick says on 616 in LA, "Fake bully, I hate bullies. You must be a terrible person." He says on Euphoria, he calls Drake a pathetic master manipulator. Meet the Grams. He says, "Why you had to stoop so low to discredit some decent people." Kendrick does stress heavy on the good versus bad duality between him and Drake. And that plays a huge factor with the relationships that backfire on Drake and serve Kendrick. One thing that Drake tries to do is use these relationships against Kendrick, but every single time he does it, it backfires because every relationship that Kendrick has a great foundation. So I put out a video, the Kendrick Lamar and Taylor Swift connection that backfired on Drake. It went crazy, 200,000 views, because no one knew that Kendrick and Taylor Swift were like this. They have what I like to call a musical group chat. Kendrick's producer is Soundwave. Taylor Swift's producer is Jack Antonoff. Jack Antonoff and Soundwave are great friends. They collaborate. They're in a group called Red Hearst with Sam Dew, who's an R&B singer, collaborating with both Taylor and Kendrick. So it's one nice circle or whatever shape going on of great music. And when Kendrick was getting taunted by Drake with Taylor Swift's name in the mix, Kendrick is playing chess, not checkers. He says, hey, he's going to mention Taylor Swift. I'll respond to that by using Taylor Swift's producer against him. That is a great relationship working against Drake. And the reality is there are so many of those relationships. One relationship is Kendrick Lamar and Top Dawg. Top Dawg owns Top Dawg Entertainment. That's a record label. He signed Kendrick back in the day. Kendrick left that record label and he started his own. It's called PG Lang. Drake looks at that and says, Kendrick left his record label. There must be some friction there. Let me stir up the pot. So he mentions Top Dawg in the song and he tries to create tension. But Kendrick, he gets the last laugh. How? Top Dawg shows up to the Juneteenth concert. Top Dawg was in the Not Like Us music video, showing you that him and Top Dawg have a great relationship. Also, Schoolboy Q, J-Rock, Ab-Soul, all the artists on Top Dawg Entertainment were at the Juneteenth show. SZA was at the show in disguise. That shows you that there's a great relationship that Drake tried to disrupt and it backfires. Next, the NBA. One thing that I know about Drake is when you watch this clip right here of him and LeBron James.
Drake texts you and like, am I letting you down?
Yeah, what'd I tell you?
You said that I can never let you down.
He looks at LeBron James like a father figure. So the fact that you see LeBron James at the show, at the Juneteenth concert, dancing along to the music. Trying to strike a chord, and it's probably... It's another angle of this beef that I know hurts Drake deep down.
How do I know it hurts Drake? Well, LeBron James was the leading scorer and hit the game winner for Team USA. Drake only posts Kevin Durant and Steph Curry in their Team USA gear. He did not post LeBron at all.
You see DeMar DeRozan, who played for the Toronto Raptors, on stage with Kendrick Lamar. Drake even mentions YG. YG is an artist from California who is involved in gang culture, mentions it in his music, and Drake tries to use YG and say, hey, YG's a real gangster. He's someone really banging a set. Kendrick is not a real gangster. Even that backfires because YG pulls up to the Juneteenth concert, performing with Kendrick, dancing with Kendrick, and is in the Not Like Us music video. And that also backfires because Drake says, I get more love in the city that you from. But the whole city came out for the Not Like Us music video to support Kendrick.
Does the crew come out every time you come to Compton?
Yeah.
You watch that Juneteenth concert and you see all the Crips and the Bloods on stage showing you that unity. There's only one artist that can put that together, which is Kendrick, and it shows you how much power he does have behind the scenes in that street gang culture. But on the flip side, for Drake, I noticed that his mob ties did not show up in this beef. And I believe it's because they did not want smoke with Kendrick Lamar and who Kendrick Lamar is affiliated with. So that backfired on Drake. I'm sure Beyonce was somewhere sitting in the cut, unbothered, saying America has a problem. Drake. Mentioning Dave Free and then Dave Free directing not only the Juneteenth concert, but the Not Like Us music video, or mentioning Whitney, who's Kendrick Lamar's fiance, over and over and over again, saying that there's some type of issue with their relationship, and then Whitney being in the music video, dancing along to Not Like Us with her kids and Kendrick. It backfired. You could see why Kendrick Lamar is the people's champ and why Drake is looking the way he looks right now. The genius of Not Like Us is everyone wants to be included in the us. If you're black and you're watching that Juneteenth concert, that's us. If you are watching the music video on July 4th, the day where America shows how patriotic we are, that's us. And most importantly, with these relationships, Kendrick Lamar draws a huge distinction between good and bad. And everyone wants to align themselves with good. No one wants to align themselves with the kind of things that Drake is getting accused of.
Trying to strike a chord and it's probably a minor.
Run for your life!
And now we get into artistry. And this is where it gets really interesting, right? I know just listening to albums like To Pimp a Butterfly, Good Kid, Mad City, Damn, that Kendrick Lamar, his mind is massive when it comes to creating an album, creating a project. Like the way he's able to tie in stories, narratives is absolutely insane. There's a reason why he won a Pulitzer Prize, because he's a phenomenal writer. But this is the thing. One of the biggest misconceptions is that Kendrick Lamar is a great rapper, but he's not a better artist than Drake.
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
Kendrick Lamar is a great rapper, but he's not a better artist than Drake. And that's where I separate two categories. You have your casual music fans, and then you have your die-hard music junkies. And I'll explain. Drake says in a song, Esperanza Spalding was getting all the praises. I'm trying to keep it humble. I'm trying to keep it gracious. Who gives a fuck? Michelle Obama put you on a playlist. End quote. He says that in a song. Let's break this down. Esperanza Spalding, for those who don't know, she's a jazz musician. And she won Best New Artist back in, I believe, 2011. And Drake was also nominated for that same award. Esperanza Spalding, she was someone that was on Barack Obama's and Michelle Obama's playlist. Remember those? When Barack Obama was in office, he would always put out a playlist, the president's playlist of all the songs he was listening to. And that playlist showed me one thing, that Barack Obama is what you call a music junkie. He is someone searching everywhere for his music. He wants to look in the mainstream, but also the underground to find some top level talent. And then you have your casual fans again, who just listen to music on the radio, things to put on in the background when you're hanging out with your friends, right? Not to say that you can't enjoy both, but there is a line that needs to be drawn in the middle. And I believe that Drake understands that he is for the casual listener, right? And he looks at Kendrick as someone for the music junkie.
Drake and Kendrick Lamar got in a rap battle. Who do you think would win?
You got to go with Kendrick. I'm just saying. I think Drake is an outstanding entertainer, but Kendrick, his lyrics, his last album was outstanding.
Excellent, all right.
Best album, I think, last year.
The Music Junkie, right? I was in band. I remember these kids would come in to class with AC/DC shirts, Abbey Road t-shirts, or come in with the Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd t-shirt merch. Like, they were just obsessed with music. And To Pimp a Butterfly and Good Kid, Mad City, or even Damn, they have aged as albums that belong in the conversations with Marvin Gaye's What's Going On, with the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper Lonely Heart Club Band, with these classic albums. And unfortunately, Drake, he doesn't quite fit that narrative. But the thing is, Kendrick Lamar can make music for the casual rap fans, whereas I don't think Drake can make music for those music junkies. I don't think Drake is capable of putting out a conscious rap album, where Kendrick can easily put out a mainstream rap album for the casual fans. Now, here's the reason why I draw a line between your music junkies and your casual music listeners. Your casual music listeners are going to say Drake is the better artist, right? Because Drake can rap and sing. Now, your music junkies, right? If you go to your vinyl store and you talk to the person at the cashier and you ask him about To Pimp a Butterfly, he's gonna tell you everything and more about the album. There are 40-year-olds who absolutely love the Beach Boys, who love the Beatles, who love Carole King, who love Pink Floyd, James Brown, Marvin Gaye, Tina Turner, who love these artists that I just mentioned, who respect Kendrick Lamar, right? Because these albums are really big in that world. And when you look at an album like To Pimp a Butterfly, you look at the credits, you see Kamasi Washington, Terrace Martin, you see these musicians, live instrumentation, jazz, funk, blues, rock and roll, and they're all putting their ingredients into a project like this.
Complexion don't mean a thing.
And to me and those music junkies, they consider that artistry, right? Like, you can't listen to an album like this and tell me that Drake is a better artist than Kendrick. You just can't. And the thing is, I love some Drake songs. Like Kendrick says, I love Drake with the melodies. But Drake is not Marvin Gaye. He's not Usher. He's a good singer that understands his pocket. He knows his pocket. He knows what works for him, and he stays in that tone. And again, that's great for pop music. But your voice is an instrument, and the way Kendrick Lamar uses his voice, that to me separates him from a lot of artists. Kendrick Lamar can get on a record and scream and cry. Scream and cry. And then get on another record and sound so calm, peaceful, quiet. And then get on another record and sound frantic to the point where his voice is shaking. And then get on another record and sound stoic, serious about his business. And then get on another record and sound aggressive and in your face and loud. And then get on another record and try to sound sexy and smooth. The way he uses his voice to tap into different characters and the way he enunciates his words, to me, that shows a deeper level of artistry that goes beyond the surface. And that is why I always thought Kendrick Lamar would win this beef, because to me, it's how he says certain things. It just hits. Every line hits a bit harder when you can say it a certain way. That's why people can walk around the crib and then they'll say to themselves, what is it, the braids? It just sticks in your head. Like certain lines, you don't want to work with me no more. Okay. There's nothing nobody could tell me, huh? Have you ever played? Have you ever? Like, it's the way he utilizes his voice that makes all the difference in the world. And then last but not least is subject matter. We're talking about someone who made an album called Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers and said, hey, these are all of my skeletons. All the skeletons in my closet here. learn something from it. Subject matter. Kendrick Lamar is a very private person. You're not going to know too much about what Kendrick Lamar is doing, what Kendrick Lamar has going on. We know everything about Drake. And Kendrick Lamar puts his entire life in his music. So the only bit of information you get from Kendrick is from his music. And I think with this beef, Kendrick knew that the only thing Drake can pull from was Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. He even says it on Euphoria, fabricating stories on the family front because you heard Mr. Morale. And on Mr. Morale, Kendrick opens up about his deepest and darkest secrets involving his relationships with his fiance, with his kids, with his dad, with his mom, with his uncle, with everything and beyond. He goes into deep, deep, deep discussions that make him look ugly at times. The man won a Pulitzer Prize. You know, the stuff that he talks about, I mean, this man made an anthem for a movement that was chanted at protest. We gon' be all right. 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 There's just levels to this, you know? And I think Drake knows that. And that's why Drake's number one angle was this is a 20v1, and he brings in A$AP Rocky and The Weeknd and Future and Metro Boomin, and he's trying to make it seem like, hey, all these guys are attacking me. It's not just Kendrick. Because the thing is, if you get your ass whooped by one person, okay, you look like a loser. But if you get your ass whooped by 20 people, you got jumped. And people start to feel bad for you. Those are the many ways that Kendrick beat Drake. There's a lot more, but I truthfully don't have the time to tell you. It would be like a 5-hour video. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And like, comment, subscribe. More coming soon. And as always, we end off with a hug. Bring it in.